Hi, good evening. This is Meredith Lego, and I'm doing a series of videos on Ascension science. A lot of the content that I'm bringing forward has been or is teachings on the mechanics of Ascension that I've been able to channel or download from a being who has already mastered reincarnation called Ascended Master Hilarion. And essentially, he's providing sort of teachings on how to do that based upon questions that I ask him like slightly after meditation or during meditation. And much of the historic content, which I highly encourage if you haven't watched to go back to, because it's been taught as sort of a building block of knowledge, has gotten into how we manifest our reality within the quantum field, polarity, mirroring, the actual stages of ascension, and whatnot, and actually what happens to the physical body. In this particular session, I asked him, really, how do you reach a human to help them realize spirituality psychologically? So in this particular case, I was saying, okay, so how do you reach out to a human and teach them about the concept of spirituality or ascension? And I was trying to understand it more from a psychological effect. And his answer was the law of attraction. At the right time, in a being's progression, the soul is ready to understand how to step up and lift to a new level of experience and understanding. This is both contracted in advance and felt by the being from the soul as an emotional feeling. So just to pause right there, there were several series of videos that I did on sort of, what happens as we sort of prepare for going into an incarnation. So oftentimes we make sort of a contract, or we start to set up sort of a series of lesson plans, if you will, that we go into. So first of all, it's really good to sort of master lucid consciousness of what's going on, because obviously you don't want to step into contracts that you're not comfortable with. And by the way, under no means do we need to agree to contracts, but essentially sometimes we do. And so if we've sort of contracted in this particular, upcoming incarnation, I'm going to start, driving towards wake up, then that's something that's going to happen. But you don't always have to do that. In other words, you still have a personality ego construct, and that personality ego construct is going to choose the various paths that it's going to choose as well, whether your soul had a plan or not of some things to do. So, it can be contracted and felt by the being from the soul as an emotional feeling. So if that emotional feeling doesn't sort of, grab onto, the being enough in order to really push the will in order to go down that path, it may not happen. So he goes on to say that a being or soul works through the lessons on the learning path over many lifetimes and eventually, quote unquote, wakes up to the reality that a disciplined approach to being, behaving, thinking, feeling is the right path or the right way of being. This is not in the polarized sense of right or wrong, but right in the sense of reduced entropy and suffering. So again, he taught in previous lessons the idea of the fact that we've incarnated and we've incarnated really into sort of a construct that puts our consciousness into a series of highly polarized energies. So energies that can be hot and cold or good or bad from our own perception, sense, our own point of view, and that's that we go through that in order to experience lessons and to understand how to sort of think and act and behave in those moments when we have all the feelings and the intentions that are going on in those polarized situations. And the point of it is to help us start to integrate the multiple sort of polarizations into sort of more of neutrality, or sort of come to a center point. And this is really done, again, not to see judgment and everything, like whatever side I choose must be good and therefore the other side must be bad. But it's more to come to the realization that when you start to get to more of a neutral position, ultimately what you're trying to do is reduce entropy or create more efficiency in the evolution process. which usually means through sort of coming together in unity and through symbiosis. So it's through that you're going to evolve in a more efficient way as a one being. And in a sense, we are really one consciousness that is fractalized down. So that really is the most, the least sort, or the most efficient, path towards evolution is what I meant to say. So he goes on to say that it's through the trial and error of life after life that the realization is made through ingesting and processing of lessons. Learnings are embedded into the soul memory and etheric blueprint, which the being will have increased access to with each successive life. Hints in the form of synchronicities also provide along the way, are also provided along the way by guides and teachers. So for example, a child will learn not to touch a hot stove after burning his or her hand upon touching it. So too does a soul learn to attract more positive, loving experiences after repeated attempts of hardship learnings. Eventually, the only path that lowers entropy is the realization of love, compassion, and non-judgment for self and all. So that's essentially another way of sort of addressing the point of sort of how to maneuver through the highly polarized set of energies to ultimately move towards a path that is going to create more efficiency in the evolution process. And obviously going after life after life after life, you eventually start to learn that, gee, maybe it's better to sort of interact with honey than the stick all the time. So I think that's essentially what this teaching is about. It gets back to the golden rule, which is kind of treat others the way that you want to be treated. So I think it's not necessarily in this particular session. My intention was to ask, so how do you reach a human to help them realize spirituality? So he's saying, so it's not necessarily that I reach out to them, but obviously it could be that the soul actually contracted for it, and at the right time the soul is going to be ready to be receptive or open to the information. And when you do that, you start to sort of raise your vibrational frequency, where you're able to sort of tap into information codes that probably already exist in the quantum field anyway. So that's kind of what's going on as well. So hope that added to your repository of knowledge about the Ascension process. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thanks, bye.